Alright folks, this is Sultan, and some new details have emerged regarding the Islamophobia definition that they are planning to introduce. So, the Muslim Council of Britain has this on their website. A key concern for many British Muslims is rising hate crime, to which the MCB advocates the adoption of the APPG British Muslim definition of Islamophobia and a real commitment to tackling hate. So now we know that the Muslim Council of Britain is advocating for the definition of Islamophobia to be adopted by the UK government. A similar move was attempted back in 2021 and as recently as 2024, but the Tories of the time rejected it. The rationale given was as follows. It said the definition had not been broadly accepted and needed further consideration. In 2021, the government said it was not in line with the Equality Act 2010 and would have severe consequences for freedom of speech. Fair point. I agree. However, can you trust two-tier Starmer to care about freedom of speech? I don't think so. They were also being pressured into accepting this definition proposed by the APPG, which stands for All Party Parliamentary Group. This group comprises MPs from both the House of Commons and the House of Lords. They don't have any real power per se, but they can, of course, make recommendations. This APPG is supported by the Aziz Foundation, which is a Muslim advocacy group, so I'll leave that with you. So what is this new definition of Islamophobia that Muslims are pushing for? Once adopted as a standard definition accepted by the UK government, they can also legislate around that definition. You might be thinking, okay, Harris, we shouldn't be spreading hate against any group of people. And I agree. Muslims have a right to live and practice their religion as long as it doesn't conflict with local laws, customs, traditions, and values. But is that the case? Let's go through the APPG's Islamophobia definition as per their own website. Islamophobia in public life, the media, schools, the workplace, and in encounters between religions and non-religions in the public sphere could, taking into account the overall context, include but are not limited to calling for, aiding, instigating, or justifying the killing or harming of Muslims in the name of a racist, fascist ideology or an extreme view of religion. So far, I agree, but that's not where it ends. And I think this is the only point that I would agree with them on. As they say, always read the fine print. So let's get to the next point. Making mendacious, dehumanizing, demonizing, or stereotypical allegations about Muslims as such, or of Muslims as a collective group, such as, especially but not exclusively, conspiracies about Muslim entryism in politics, government, or other societal institutes. The myth of Muslim identity having a unique propensity for terrorism. I wonder where that thought comes from. And claims of a demographic threat posed by Muslims or of a Muslim takeover. So they're basically telling us that don't spread conspiracy theories that Muslims are planning to take over. You can't say that Islam can lead people to terrorism despite the fact that 96% of the reported terrorist casualties in Britain in the last 20 years have been committed by people inspired by Islamic doctrine. You can't say this. You could go to jail for this. You can't even quote the Quran itself, such as, indeed, the penalty for those who wage war against Allah and His Messenger and strive upon earth to cause corruption is none but they be killed or crucified, or that their hands and feet be cut off from opposite sides, or they be exiled from the land. Quran chapter 5 verse 33. The Quran says to cut off the hands and feet of anyone who is spreading corruption on land, such as me. This is why people like Ali Dawa can broadcast this to millions of his followers.
This is a part of our religion. There's a reason to it. Yeah, there's a reason why there's a capital punishment. Because people like you, little weaklings who leave their religion and cause corruption in the land by spreading it, the capital punishment in Islamic law would be applied to you. We have no doubt, and we're proud of that. Yeah?
What you just heard from a Muslim himself cannot be repeated by the victims of his rhetoric. For example, people like me or Tommy Robinson or even you.
The Prophet says, the first thing you do is call them to Islam. If they refuse, then tell them Allah obliged upon you to pay taxation. In return, when enemy comes and attack your country, you don't fight. We Muslims protect you. Subhanallah, for this little money? Yes, and you enjoy sitting in your homes and in your country and live your life normally. But the ruling is for Sharia. So you do not open nightclubs, you do not fornicate. If they refuse, then we have to fight. And if we fight you, then we capture you, you become our slaves, and we take your land, and you take because you refuse. I give you two good options in the coming 40, 50 years when the Muslims become strong, as they're supposed to be.
I can go on and on their stated political goals, but we cannot talk about Muslim entryism in politics. Check out what they broadcast in English to their millions of young Muslim men living in the West.
Reason why you have to fight them is because they are Jews and Christians. You should fight those empires around you, or those hukumat around you, which are Jew or Christian, until they give the jizya. And then the howness of that is in the hadith. Three options that they're given: either you give the jizya, or you do this, or you do that. We're not apologetic about that point. That is truth. If your religion has to have an expansionist element, therefore there is no situation or conceivability of peace being made between Muslims and non-Muslims.
Islam is a warrior religion in many ways, and it's unapologetically so. It's about expansion, it's about conquest and so on.
So basically their own people are saying that this is what they're going to do, but you are not allowed to repeat it. So they can say it, but you can't. Make that make sense? That's just point number 2. Let's get to the next one. Accusing Muslims as a group of being responsible for real or imagined wrongdoing committed by a single Muslim person or group of Muslim individuals, or even for acts committed by non-Muslims.
Of Birmingham will not tolerate the disrespect of our Prophet, peace be upon him, and there will be outcomes from your actions. You will have repercussions for your actions. We have been trained from birth that we must defend the honor of our Prophet, and we will lay our life on the line.
Would we want Sharia in the UK? We want Sharia for everybody. Do you even know what Sharia means? Huh? Do you even know what Sharia means? Yeah? You need Sharia. UK is dying for Sharia.
When Muslims themselves say that, it's Islam that's making them believe this. You can't repeat it. You could go to jail, or worse, get killed by Muslim gangs. In fact, this is what their holy book, the Quran, says, but quoting it could now land you in jail. O you who have believed, do not take the Jews and Christians as allies. They are in fact allies of one another, and whoever is an ally to them among you, then indeed he is one of them. Quran chapter 5 verse 51. This verse is saying that if you befriend a Jew or a Christian, then Allah will treat you as them, i.e. kuffar. This is why culturally they do not see you as friends. Yeah, you might find some anecdotal examples, but culturally, holistically, they see you as enemies. Don't believe me? Listen to the Muslims themselves.
It is from our religion that we have to hate them for the sake of Allah. We love what Allah loves, and on the opposite of that, we hate what Allah hates.
Meaning we're enemies. Let's not beat around the bush. We don't love each other. We're not on the same page. We are not friends. Does that make sense? We are enemies. And this is not for personal reasons. It's not over land. It's not over politics. It's not over money. It's because we love Allah. We can't help it. We love Allah so much, the one who gave us everything that we have, and you do shirk. You worship another God besides him.
Next one. Accusing Muslims as a group or Muslim majority states of inventing or exaggerating Islamophobia, ethnic cleansing, or genocide perpetrated against Muslims. So when Muslims or a group of Muslims claim that Palestinians are being genocided by Israel, you can't reject it. You can't say that, no, hang on a second. 20,000 people out of the population of 2.2 million is not a genocide. But you could go to prison if you simply reject their false claim of being genocided. The next point is even more interesting. Accusing Muslim citizens of being more loyal to the Ummah, Muslim community, or to their countries of origin, or to the alleged priorities of Muslims worldwide than to the interest of their own nations. Before I say anything, listen to a British Muslim himself.
But I can be in a land where I live with these people, but I have hate for them. I don't like them. Muslims are being put in situations where they're asked, are you a Muslim first or are you a British first?
Yeah, but these are easy questions to answer. I'm a Muslim first. Like, what's the issue?
But that's you not being loyal to the country that you claim to be from. You see, that's what Muslims are now. By saying that statement, you're a foreigner from us now.
See, he himself is saying that he is loyal to Islam first before being loyal to Britain. Is that Muslim being an Islamophobe? Is he going to go to prison? No. But you and I will when we quote these people themselves. You see how pathetic their whole argument is? Anyway, there's more. Denying Muslim populations the right to self-determination, for example, by claiming that the existence of an independent Palestine or Kashmir is a terrorist endeavor. So basically in Britain, you cannot call Hamas a terrorist organization. They also mention Kashmir, which is a Pakistani political claim. This is Pakistan's talking point. So rejecting Pakistan's political talking points in Britain amounts to Islamophobia. We don't buy your claim of from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. However, now you can go to prison for not buying their political narrative. That's what we call creeping Sharia. Once you open the door to Sharia and Islamism, it is bound to seep into the rest of your political views because Islam is not a religion. It is an ancient, medieval, barbaric, militant movement. I'm in Australia, I could say it, you can't, so don't bother. Next point. Applying double standards by requiring of Muslims behavior that are not expected or demanded of any other groups in society, for example, loyalty tests. Well, that's because no other community is saying that we want to install our own legal system in Britain. No Hindus are saying it. No Sikhs are saying it. Well, they might start saying it soon because Muslims are showing other communities that they can also have a parallel legal system. But so far, they're not saying it. No Chinese are saying it. No Filipinos are saying it. The reason people suspect Muslim loyalties is because they themselves say that Islam and Sharia come first.
Are you a Muslim first or you're a British first?
Yeah, but these are easy questions to answer. I'm a Muslim first. Like, what's the issue?
They say they are not loyal to their adopted countries, but we can't question their loyalty now. Listen to what a Muslim says himself.
One day we can have a Muslim majority nation here in Canada. Right? Face.
Hey, we have Canadian law here, and you say that you want Sharia law to displace Canadian law. That doesn't sound very respectful.
In majority, you wouldn't have any other option. Go to your queen and tell her to change the laws.
Change the laws to what, sir? To Sharia law?
No, change the laws to not allow any more Muslims to come to Canada. We owe our allegiance and our loyalty first and foremost to our religion, not to the queen, to be honest. When I went for my so-called oath, I was silent. I didn't say anything. It was your responsibility to make sure you got it out of me. So when I didn't say anything, I'm not.
Their foot soldiers have exposed their own movement so badly that we literally have a video for every victimhood talking point they have. For example, this next point, we have a video for everything. Using the symbols and images associated with classic Islamophobia. So, for example, Muhammad being a pedophile, claims of Muslims spreading Islam by the sword or subjugating minority groups under their rule. Did you see how they did not say that Muhammad did not marry Aisha when she was 9? They only objected to the word pedophile. Well, I'm not here to tell you to use these words for a holy figure, but ask yourself, what do you call a person who engages in a sexual activity with a 9-year-old child? But no, don't say it out loud, okay? You'll get in trouble. To characterize Muslims as being sex groomers, inherently violent. 96% of the British public that's killed in terrorist attacks are killed by Muslims. Sex groomers. 1,400 girls in the last 10 years have been groomed by predominantly Pakistani and Muslim men. But you can't say it. I mean, all of these points are so hilarious. But as far as the claim of Muslims spreading Islam by the sword is concerned, don't hear me. We have a clip for everything. Listen to one of the most popular Muslim cleric in the Indian subcontinent. Listen to what Muhammad Ali Mirza has to say on this topic.
भाई दुनिया में आपसे पहले बादशाह नहीं आए जिन्होंने तलवार के जोर के ऊपर पूरी दुनिया के ऊपर कब्जा किया तो यहाँ पे भी तलवार के जोर पे ही हुआ है ना ये तो बिल्कुल झूठ बोला जाता है कि जनाब अखलाक से इस्लाम फैला है इनिशियली तो तलवार से ही फैला है.
And as far as Muhammad being a pedophile is concerned, basically you can't quote Muslims' own accepted position that Muhammad was 52 when he married Aisha, who was 9 years old. This is an accepted Islamic position by far.
I believe the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, married Aisha at 6 and he consummated the marriage at 9. I have zero problem with that at all.
British Muslims themselves can say it. But if you and I say it, then it's Islamophobia. You and I can go to jail for that, holding Muslims collectively responsible for the actions of any Muslim majority state, whether secular or constitutionally Islamic. Oh, like the Taliban. Why should we not hold you responsible when someone like Dildo Hussein goes to Afghanistan and makes a propaganda video for the Taliban?
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. I pray you're well, inshallah ta'ala. Many of you will know that I'm currently in my first visit to the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan.
Yes. So how were the Taliban? How did you find the Taliban?
They were, mashallah, they were very welcoming. They were great hosts, very respectful. They would treat you with honor.
They glamorize the Taliban, and when we say, look, British Muslims are glamorizing the Taliban, advocating for their values here in Britain, it's Islamophobia, and we can go to prison for it. This definition of Islamophobia has been accepted by London's Labour Muslim Mayor Sadiq Khan, but it hasn't been accepted by the UK's Labour government yet. However, all signs indicate that they soon will. They probably made it public to see our reaction. This is why I'm telling you, you need to get on X and express your rejection of this definition. Or you can keep worrying about your jobs, your mortgage, and keep towing their line, and in the process, lose your freedoms bit by bit. If this definition is accepted by the UK government, then there is nothing stopping them from legislating Islamophobia as per this definition. I hope I made you understand the gravity of this issue. I also want to address those idiot ex-Muslims who, in their effort to appear fair, get in bed with Islamists in the name of Muslims versus Islam. Your bullshit rhetoric is not working. And all those British ex-Muslims who love criticizing or attacking Islam could be imprisoned. You know what? I actually wouldn't mind that. This is why it's important to pick a side. I've picked mine, and that is not with the Islamists. I hope you understood the seriousness of this issue. This video is likely to get demonetized, so your support is needed more than you think. You can support my channel by going to patreon.com/HarrisSultan, or you can buy me a coffee by going to buymeacoffee.com/HarrisSultan. If you don't like any of those platforms, then you can also go on PayPal. If not, then just like and share the video and leave a comment underneath. It helps amplify my voice and consequently your voice. You're going to need it, because if you say it, you could be going to jail. Until next time, ta-ra. If you'd like to support my work, you can become my patron by going to patreon.com/HarrisSultan, or you can simply buy me a coffee.